Hi everyone, Janelle here. Welcome to another Facebook Live. I know manifesting is like a definitely like a hot button like word right now. A lot of people talk about manifesting and people want to know what it is and how to do it. So, but yeah, there are definitely some things we need to talk about first. Alrighty, so I hope my hair looks okay. So yes, the law of detachment. I wanted to talk about that today because I feel like, or not I feel like, I know that the law of attraction is something that people talk about all the time. If you follow me here on Facebook, which I'm assuming you do because you're on this live, you've seen me talk about it a lot. If you don't know who I am, my name is Janelle, and I'm the founder of Jolie Bloom, and I help women who have gone through the loss of a pregnancy or infant to heal and also to manifest the life of their dreams despite their loss. Because life doesn't end after loss, and I want to inspire my fellow women who have gone through that type of loss to keep going and to know that life can still be beautiful and can still be full of purpose. And so the law of attraction, people talk about that a lot, manifesting and seemingly like having these like magical things happen out of nowhere, right? Like, oh, I manifested this and I manifested that. If you watch, or excuse me, if you read my blog, I've shared lots of manifesting stories over the years. I've manifested everything intentionally, from like my husband to my home to like meeting certain people, different circumstances. And I actually had a friend ask me last night, like, is manifesting only for like big things? Because you always talk about like big things. And I'm like, no, like sometimes I manifest a certain parking spot. Like, you know, manifesting, there's no size or, you know, restrictions on what you can or can't manifest. So, in saying all of that, a lot of times people feel frustrated because they're like, they see people claiming to manifest all these things, and it might not be working for them as effortlessly, or they might feel like that. Like, you know, I see this person manifesting all these things and, you know, nothing's happening for me. I don't get it. You know, is something wrong with me? Am I not doing it right? Am I not praying hard enough? Like, you know, what do I need to do? And I think a lot of it is because we focus so much just on the law of attraction that we're not actually talking about the other laws, and there are so many others. But tonight I wanted to talk about the law of detachment. So what is that? So the law of detachment basically is detaching from the outcome of the things you want to manifest. So the law of attraction is supposed to bring things in, right? But what happens is sometimes we get so obsessed with these things that we want to happen in our life. We get so obsessed with the things we want to manifest, and we want it to happen a certain time and date. We want it to happen a certain way, that essentially we're basically stifling our goals to death. Like, we're not even giving it a chance to develop. We're not giving God any like leeway to make things happen. It's like we want to control everything. And while I do believe that we are co-creators, you know, there's also someone else who is a part of the process that might know some things that we don't know yet. So when I say detaching from the outcome, I'm not saying to not have goals, not have dreams, not have things you want to accomplish, but we need to relax about how these things show up in our life and stop putting so much detail around the things that we want that we don't allow any room for it to happen any other way. And because we're not giving it any room, there's no way for the things we want to flourish. So, for example, because I do mainly work with fellow angel moms, I know for me, like, you know, after my daughter passed, like one of the things was, you know, I need to have a baby and another baby, and I need to have the other baby by this time. and da 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 da. Like I had like this whole like schedule planned out, right? And then when it didn't happen that way, what happened is that I started to get discouraged. And that's what happens to us a lot of times. We create these very detailed goals and manifestations, and we plan it down to the date and time and how it shows up and all of that, that we don't give God any room to have things show up in a way that they need to, or when they're supposed to, or even in a way that's bigger than what we were planning. Because a lot of times our goals are so small in comparison to what we can actually have. So I know one year that I really struggled with this, and this is when I really learned about the law of detachment, because I was on the struggle bus. In 2016, I started the year with a whole sheet of goals, which is nothing wrong with that. The mistake I made, though, was I had timelines on everything, and I specified how certain things were going to happen to me. And as the year was going on, and I wasn't hitting these timelines that I created for myself, not timelines that I like meditated on and asked God to help me to, figure out certain things, but timelines that I created, the more I didn't hit those certain benchmarks, the more frustrated I got, and the more then negative energy I created around myself and around the things that I wanted to have in my life. And if I'm basically this walking ball of negative energy, then all the things I'm trying to manifest is not going to happen anyway. But I didn't leave any room for anything else. It was, this is how I want it on these dates, and I want it to show up like this. Like, for example, I wanted to create a new business, and I wanted to make a certain amount, and I had the exact dates, exact dates that I wanted to make certain amounts of money. And setting goals is cool, but what if that's just not meant for me right in that moment? What if there are certain lessons that I need to learn? What if I am going to hit these goals, but just not according to the timeline that I created? We have to completely detach from these things that we're asking for. We only need to ask for it once, and that's it. We don't need to obsess every single day, which is why I say when you write your goals down, you should either put it away somewhere, or, that you're not going to see it every day, or you just need to say a prayer after you write your goals down and burn it and just completely release it. And when I think about the law of detachment, honestly, I just think about faith. Because to me, it's like, if I make my desires known to God, I have to then trust that God is going to provide, right? Instead of being like, how can I not obsess? Honestly, Chanel, it's taken me a lot of practice. And I'll guess I'll talk about that a little bit too. But I drove myself crazy, just like, oh my God, I need to have this by this time. And, it's like your kids asking you for something, and you only need to ask for what you want one time. Like, God is listening, like God hears you, and there is going to be a way created for these things to come into your life, if it's meant to come into your life, because a lot of times what we're asking for is much smaller than what we can actually get, or the things that we're asking for, it may not need to come into our life that moment. We ask for things and we want it now. Like, we want to see it right now and according to our timeline. And then what happens is, when we don't see it according to our timeline, then we start to lose faith, then we start to second guess ourselves. Then we start to second guess God. Then, we get confused, and then we come up with new goals and other things because we're like, okay, well, maybe this is not going to happen. But detachment to me is just having faith, and faith is believing in something you can't see. Faith is making your desires known, making, just asking for what you want and just releasing it and knowing that it's going to happen, that there is a force greater than yourself who is going to make sure that you're good. So just detach, just release, ask for it one time and just know that you're going to be fine. You are going to be fine. And a lot of the things we're asking for, those desires don't come out of nowhere. They are implanted in us for a reason, so that we can we can go from idea to execution. But it takes steps, like we want to go from step 1 to step 10, but it's like we need to go in order. Like there might be certain lessons that we need to learn first. There might be certain people that need to come into our lives first. There might be certain things that we need to go through first before we can bring this manifestation to fruition. So, and that's why, to me, honestly, like I haven't even really been getting, it's just like our kids ask for a car. We know when they are responsible enough to have one. It's the same with our manifestations. They come right on time when we are able to handle them. Absolutely. Because, sometimes we ask for stuff that we're not ready for. You know how many times I asked God to make me a millionaire in like a year? And it's like, well, girl, like, okay, can I really handle that though? Like, can I really go from like 0 to 60? Or not even a millionaire, but like have like my business get to like a certain point? And when I think about it, it's just like, like I have so many things to learn. If I went from here to where I desire to go in that short amount of time that I'm creating, this, timeline that I'm creating, I don't know if I could mentally handle that, or if my business can handle it. Could I even support that? You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of businesses that grow so fast that they are out of business because they can't scale. Maybe they don't have the cash flow to move the way that they want to move, or to scale at the rate that everything is blowing up. There's nothing wrong with taking gradual steps. And, even as I say this to you, I'm like, still saying it to myself, because I am a very ambitious person and I have huge goals, but I also am now understanding that I need to relax and just know that whatever I want, those desires were given to me, and they were given to me because I can have them, just maybe not in the exact time frame that I want and in the order that I'm looking for. So Chanel says, like, kind of like learning to walk and running. Yeah, that's like, like sometimes I realize some of the things that I'm asking for would be equivalent to me running, going from being in the type of physical shape I'm in now to running the New York City Marathon in 3 weeks. Like, girl, where am I going? I'd die. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't even make sense. So we need to relax. Like, we are fully supported. God is supporting us. Depending on what you believe in, your spirit guides, your ancestors, like, you have like a whole team that you can't see that is working on your behalf to open up doors, to change circumstances, to teach you certain lessons, to bring certain people into your life. Like, everything is going to be okay. Just because we don't see things moving the way we want today doesn't mean that it's not moving. A lot of times things are moving, but we just don't see them yet. And that's because we're not meant to see them yet. And, and that is okay. Yeah, exactly, Toy. And we've seen that. Yeah. Oh, yes. Especially with Oprah. Like, there are a lot of people who, they end up being on her, what is it? Oprah's favorites list. And it's just like an explosion. and there is no way for them to fulfill those orders or to scale at the rate that everyone is demanding that, you know, their products for. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with going at a gradual pace, and we're all moving at the pace that we are able to move at. You know, for some people, they do experience overnight success, and that's because they can handle it. You know, they're designed that way. For some of us, you know, God knows that some of us are just, you know, we get overwhelmed a little easy, or, you know, God knows what we're able to handle. So if we're asking for too much, it's just going to happen in gradual steps. But just, you know, whatever you're asking for, know that you can have it and you will get it. Just detach from how it shows up to you. We all aren't meant to serve in that capacity. Absolutely. I totally believe that. And I can give you a quick story of detaching. Like a lot of times when I would set monetary goals, I would set the goals and I would require my monetary goals to be met by my business, right? So I would be like, oh, I need to make such and such. So God, I need to make sure that my business does this and blah, 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 blah. And so like once I learned about the law of detachment, I have gotten a lot better at not doing that. So there was, you know, when I was in the process of manifesting my house and going shopping for a house with no down payment because I felt like I was going to get it and, you know, God was going to make a way. I was like, okay, well, God, you know, I'm on this path. I need that money though. So I was in the shower on a Saturday and, I was like, okay, God, like I need the money to start rolling in. You know, I know I'm going to manifest this house. I know I'm going to get it. But I need to start seeing, you know, how I'm actually going to pay for this. And so I was in the shower and I was just like, God, like, you know, just send me some money. And normally I would be like, okay, in order for me, like the logical part of my brain would be like, okay, in order for me to get this amount of money, either something needs to happen at work for my husband to make some extra money, or something needs to happen in my business for me to make that money. But I literally said to God, like, I just need you to send me some money, and I don't want to work for the money. I just want it to show up. It doesn't have to come from my business. It doesn't have to come from my husband's job. I just need the money to show up. And that was on a Saturday. And then that following Tuesday, my husband and I were going through our mail because I have a bad habit of letting mail pile up. And while we were going through that mail, there was a check in there for almost $2,000. And it was a refund that I wasn't expecting from, I don't even remember what. I didn't even care. I was just like, oh, like, you know what I mean? The money I asked for, it showed up. So all I did was ask for it. I only asked for it one time. I told God I don't care how it shows up. I did say I don't want to work for it, and I didn't work for it. So that was $2,000 just sitting in my house, and I got to put it in my bank account and put the money towards my house. So I feel like, you know, that though was like a part of like the house manifesting things, because one of the things I learned from my friend Val is that when you are manifesting things, you don't have to ask for the money. Ask for the thing that you want, and then again, detach from it so that you can be open to how that money shows up. So when I went into manifesting my house, I didn't say, okay, I need to make this certain amount, and then when I make this certain amount, then I can go ahead and get my house. It was, okay, I'm ready to manifest the house. And I would just have faith that some way, somehow, I was going to end up in my house. And, you know, random checks started showing up, and, you know, just circumstances just shifted in order for me to get this thing that I asked for. And it happened relatively quickly. And honestly, if I had done that, I would have had my house years ago. But what I always focused on was the money. I was always like, oh, I need to be making a certain amount, or I need to have this before I can have a house. And then now I just flipped it and I was like, you know what? I want the house. And some way, somehow, the money's going to show up and I'm going to get it. So, but I completely detached from how I was going to get the house. I detached from how I was going to get the money, and things just started flowing. And I didn't even really have like a time, again, like, that's another thing, like these timelines, like I know people, when you make goals, like people encourage you to make timelines and stuff like that. But honestly, like your timeline might be a lot longer than how quickly you can get it. Or sometimes it's, it's a little too quick. Because the money is for something. You did it. God can do things in ways we will never believe. We think money is the way, and it's not. Yeah, it's not the only way. And I did a lot of work last year around like my money consciousness and stuff like that, because I really used to allow my bank account to determine my mood. Like if my bank account was good, then I was good. If it wasn't where I wanted it to be, then I would be extremely depressed. And I didn't want to live my life like that anymore. So now, instead of me focusing on that, it's just like, okay, what do I want? And I just go ahead and start manifesting that, and just have faith that a way will be made in order for me to have these things that I want. And it's not always about physical things either. I know a lot of times when we talk about manifesting, we talk about like material stuff. But you can manifest like a change of circumstance. You can manifest meeting certain people, having things change in a friendship, in a relationship. I recently manifested something like that where there was a person I haven't spoken to in a really long time, and we had some fixing to do, and now we've done it. And I haven't spoken to this person in a really, really long time, like half a lifetime ago. But I manifested that situation fixing itself, and it's happened. So manifesting isn't just about stuff. It can be circumstances. It could be meeting people. You can manifest, different opportunities in your professional life, in your personal life. The possibilities are endless, but just detach from the way how it shows up and when it shows up. Like right now, I really want, well, this is a physical thing. A material thing, but I really want a patio set, and I want a really, really nice one. But the really, really nice ones it's money I'm not really willing to spend on patio furniture, but I want it. So I'm going to manifest it, and I'm just going to detach from how it shows up. Maybe I'll end up getting some kind of like sponsorship from my blog or something. I don't know, but I'm going to completely detach from how it shows up and just have faith that it will. There was something I wanted to read to you guys. But attaching though to the result is really fear and insecurity. And, those aren't ways that you manifest things. You got to keep the energy light and positive around the things that you want, and just actually give it room to grow. When you obsess and you obsess and you obsess and you obsess over the things that you want, you are basically like stifling it before it even has a chance to grow. So you got to relax a little bit. It's like when if you watch a plant all day, is it gonna look like it's growing? No. So you need to relax. You need to plant the seed and just water it every day. but you don't have to stare at it like this and see, is it growing? Is it growing? Did my manifestation show up yet? Is it happening? Is it happening? Is it happening? Like, no. It don't work like that. You'll drive yourself crazy. So let me know if you guys have any questions. If not, I think I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. So let me know if you have any questions. Hold on, let me check. I don't know if they're on the other page because that happens sometimes. Let me make sure. I think we are good. Hold on. I think we're good. All right. So, if you would like to book a natal chart reading with me, feel free to inbox me, and I would love to do that. Especially since it's the new year, you can definitely get some insight into what the year ahead is going to be like for you. So if there is, certain things that you want to do when we do your natal chart, we can definitely check to see, like when is the best time to do certain things, or how it should be done. And, I can basically help you to maximize your natural, this is lemonade in here, by the way, it's not alcohol, I'm boring. Yeah, but we can go ahead and plan out your 2018 according to your astrological chart, so that you're actually planning out your year in a way that makes sense, not just like shooting in the dark, like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and like you have no kind of alignment with it. Let's do your astrological chart so we can, make some goals that are in alignment with who you are meant to be in this lifetime, because that's what it's all about. Because a lot of times too, we make goals that have nothing to do with us, just things that we see other people do, or things that we think are a good idea, but they're not actually aligned with who we are designed to be or who we're called to be in this life. So have a great evening. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, and I will see you on the next Facebook Live. Bye.